Look, in Minecraft, every block tells a story. It starts with the first block you get and ends with the last one. So before it's too late, I'm gonna honor my hardcore world by not just collecting, but also ranking every single full block in the game. This could be a painful one, so let's not overthink it and just get started by placing the outline for the tier list, which by the way is gonna have 5 different tiers. S tier being the best one and reserved for some of the most cool blocks in the game, whereas the D tier is the worst one and will be home to blocks like... Bruh. Anyways, we're now done with the outline, which means in order to fill this, we now need a lot of concrete. Luckily, we do get one of these gravity block duplication devices. Okay, I probably went a bit overkill, but at least this should be more than enough now. So let's bring all of it to the tier list, where I now also gotta build this thing, which allows us to convert concrete powder into concrete. There we go. I mean, it already looks kinda cool just like that. However, this is the part where pain begins. We're gonna have to get every single block in the game now. For demonstration, I'm gonna grab this dirt block and place it into the D tier. Because I mean, it's dirt, let's be honest. Also for demonstration, I'm gonna place down a bunch of netherrack, just to visualize how many blocks are still missing. And at this point, I realized I'm not gonna be touching grass for the next 2 weeks. We can now remove this, replace it with this platform, and that's all the preparations done. So let's get to collecting blocks. And I'm gonna start with all the wooden blocks, which means I need a bunch of logs from each type of tree. So that's oak. Over here we should find spruce, and we got birch, dark oak, and acacia, jungle, and cherry, which is easily the log with the most satisfying sound. And finally, the by far hardest to find one, mangrove. This biome has a cool vibe, by the way. Also, fun fact, I'm stupid. I should have gotten all the different leaf blocks too, but at least I know where to find all those trees now. The only one I'm missing is the azalea tree, which has normal azalea leaves and flowering ones. Now let's bring all of those back to the tier list, where we can now also turn our logs into wood and planks, and then we can also strip one wood and strip one log, which leaves us with 5 different types of wood for each type of tree. And with a quick jump cut, we now did it for all of them. Ooh, I already know this one's about to offend people, but birch is the worst of these and it will go to C tier. Okay, moving on. We got oak, jungle, and spruce, all pretty similar, so all B tier. In the A tier, I got dark oak and acacia. I think they both look cool. And that leaves us with the final 2, cherry and mangrove, for the S tier. And honestly, well deserved. I think both of these are pretty amazing. Maybe it's recency bias because they're the newest ones, but I really think it's just the unusual color that makes them stick out. Anyways, we also got all the leaf blocks to rank still. And I might be overrating these, but most of them are actually going to A tier. I like how they're see-through and like also mobs can't spawn on them. Matter of fact, 3 of them will actually go to the S tier, being flowering azalea, spruce, and cherry leaves. For all of these, I like the coloring compared to your, I guess, normal green ones. Oh, and then there's also mangrove roots, which is about as exciting as birch. But just like that, we're done with about 15% of this. But to be fair, we kinda did a bunch of the easy ones right now, whereas later on, we're gonna get a bunch of blocks, which definitely won't be collected as quickly. Anyways, for now, we still have a ton of easy blocks together. For example, the grass block, easy B tier. Also, let me touch that. And we need all the underground blocks, so stone and cobblestone. There's also andesite, diorite, and granite. And I'm gonna need all the different types of ore, so coal and copper. Over here is some iron. And unrelated to the ores, we also found this geode, which gives us smooth basalt, calcite, and block of amethyst. Ooh, there's also some dripstone blocks here, as well as deepslate and cobbled deepslate. Now let's continue with the ores. That's redstone, and that's not an ore, but we will take it. Block of raw copper. Okay, anyways, next on the list are lapis, gold, and diamond, which I conveniently found next to each other, leaving us looking for one final ore, which I found underwater, emerald. And I think that's enough blocks for now, so let's return to the tier list. These are all the regular ores. The deepslate ones we're gonna get later. Let's place down a furnace. Boom, boom, boom. We can also turn all these into their polished variants. And that's a lot of new blocks, so let's get straight into ranking. And I hate to say it, but there's gonna be some D tiers. If any of these blocks are your favorite, I'm sorry, in more than one way. But let's move on with the C tier. Once again, all of these kinda mediocre, and none of them make me feel anything. Anyways, B tier. I got the cracked and the regular stone brick, gold and redstone ore, and polished granite. Pretty decent blocks, but not as cool as the A tier. These 3 are just so clean, I think. Also, these 2 ores look pretty cool. Anyways, S tier time, and I got 3 entries. Polished diorite and block of amethyst, which I know people are not gonna be happy with, but come on man, it makes a funny sound, okay? And the 3rd block is diamond ore, which is probably the most iconic block in the game. Just think back to your first times playing Minecraft, when you went caving and found diamonds. That was like the most exciting thing. But anyways, that's not why I'm down here right now. I'm here because I'm looking for all the Deepslate ore variants, like this gold and iron. But there's also a bunch of other blocks that I missed on the first time, like tough. Ooh, there's a mineshaft here. Oh, and there's Deepslate diamond here. Nice. Also lapis and redstone. Redstone, copper, and I knew Deepslate emerald would be tough to find, but I don't know why I can't find any Deepslate coal either. I did however find this dungeon, so I can grab one of these mossy cobblestones. And I also just stumbled upon this. I'm gonna take one of these. And I don't think there's a shrieker here, which is good because I need one of these as well. And now let's get out of here as quickly as possible. Eventually, I also ended up finding Deepslate coal. Deepslate emerald, however, was an absolute pain. I give up. I'm gonna get it later. I'm just gonna make a final stop at our stronghold to get a mossy stone brick. Okay, and I also made sure to bring some more cobbled Deepslates. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. How does Deepslate have so many different variants? Anyways, I think most of these blocks are actually kinda cool. However, 2 of them will still go to D tier, being Deepslate coal and tough. That's tough. In C tier, I got the cracked Deepslate blocks, Deepslate iron, and Deepslate copper. Also the mossy variants. None of these really speak to me, if you know what I'm saying. To be honest, I don't even know what I'm saying. On with the B tier, where I'm gonna put all the remaining Deepslate blocks. Honestly, these look pretty good, they're just not anything special. A tier, only 2 entries, being the Gold Catalyst and Deepslate Gold. In general, I think the Deepslate ores look better than their counterparts, which also explains why 3 of them are gonna make it into the S tier. Also, Gold made it in here. Probably one of my top 5 favorite blocks. I mean, look at that little glimmer, that's so satisfying. Anyways, we're now done with probably about 30%, and so far we've only spent time in the Overworld. Even though there's 2 other dimensions where we also need to collect blocks from, being the End dimension, which got added 12 years ago and has 4 different blocks. Very impressive. And since there's nothing to do here, I decided to destroy this End city. So now I can tell you, these are all the blocks it contains. You're welcome, I'm sure that really helped you, but I'm out of here. Both of the Endstone blocks, C tier. That color is just not great. The other 2 are kinda cool though. I think A tier is fair. But let's move on with the dimension which has a few more blocks to collect. A dimension which is also a bit less friendly. What a warm welcome. Anyways, let's get started. I'm gonna need you and you. Obviously, I'm also gonna need one of these. And I need the nether ores, so some gold and quartz. Now let's return to this forest so that we can also grab crimson nylium and shroom lights. Oh, and I almost forgot about glowstone. Probably because it looks bad, respectfully. Anyways, there's also a fortress here. So let's grab some of these. Oh, and I'm gonna need some quartz of the non-block variety, which we can then turn into some quartz blocks. Okay, let's see what else there is. I guess I'm still missing the magma block. Ooh, and there's our next biome. And this one should give us 3 more blocks, being this stuff, warped stem, and warped nylium. I still have no idea what a nylium is, by the way, but it sounds kinda cool. Alright, moving on. Ooh, this one. I think this is the best looking nether biome. Let's get some basalt and a bunch of blackstone. Okay, we're looking for one final biome. This one right here, the soul sand valley. I wish I never put soul speed on my boots. What the heck is this? Soul sand, soul soil, bone block. Now there's only a few blocks missing. And earlier I saw this bastion, which we can now visit to get most of them, like this gold block or some gilded blackstone. Finally, we also need a lodestone, which spawns on bastion chests. Yoink. And that leaves one final block we still have to obtain from the nether, which is best found at Y level 15, ancient debris. Okay, now with all those collected, let's return to the tier list. We also have to... And the nether definitely gave us more blocks to rank than the end, so let's just get straight into it. C tier is mostly gonna be blocks that look kind of boring. Also glowstone, because it's ugly. And netherrack, which is probably a good time to remove all of this. I kinda like it, it looks more clean now. Anyways, let's continue with the C tier, where I'm gonna put both nylium blocks, cracked and red nether bricks, both of the nether ores, ancient debris. If you say it looks cool, you're lying to yourself. Both of the ward blocks, and finally soul sand, which would have been D tier, but it has like little spooky faces. Also, it's like useful for stuff like the water elevators. So, and yeah, for the other ones, I mean, half of them are netherrack with extra steps, basically. Anyways, B tier. These blocks are already kind of cool. The lodestone, regular and chiseled nether bricks, magma block, and shroom light. And finally, every single type of blackstone. I like these blocks. No idea what a lodestone does, but it looks interesting. Okay, next is the A tier, where I'm gonna put every variation of quartz. I'm glad that these 2 are different blocks, by the way. That seems very necessary. Also, every variation variation of crimson wood. And finally the gold block, which leaves us with the S tier, where I'm gonna put all the warped wood blocks. I think that shade of color is just so sick. And the last block is one of my absolute favorites, gilded black stone. Not gonna lie, y'all are sleeping on this block. Like, come on, it just looks good, honestly. Anyways, with that we're probably about halfway done. However, there's been a little bit of an issue. Yeah, I kinda burned through all my rockets with all that traveling we did, so I suggest we build a creeper farm, for which I'm gonna need a bunch of snow blocks, also pumpkins, a lot of wood, and finally a ton of stone. Okay, I think we AFK'd long enough. Yeah, I think that's good for now. Now let's add some sugarcane, and I think this should last us for a while. We do need to make one more stop at our XP farm though. And another stop at our snow base, where we can brew some water breathing and some invis potions, which are gonna be useful for the next few blocks we're getting, being all the ocean blocks. So let's start by clearing all the elder guardians out of this temple. That was number 1, 2, and 3. Okay, nice. Now we can collect a sea lantern and prismarine bricks, regular and dark prismarine, leaving us looking for a sponge. And here's a pro tip if you guys want to be advanced miners. The best way to find the sponge rooms is swimming in the outside part of the monument and looking for these dark prismarine spots. So now we just gotta get lucky, which we did. And I'm just gonna grab all of these, they're always good to have. Now we just gotta get some sand, clay and kelp, which gives us a bunch of new blocks to rank, even though I just noticed something. I forgot about some of the most ocean-y ocean blocks there are, which are these right here. The coral blocks, which come in 5 different types: horn, bubble, rain, tube and fire. They also all have a dead variant, which we can easily get by using a non-silk touch pickaxe. And that should have been all, so let's get out of here. Wait, bro, how did I not think of that? They need water, I'm so stupid. Okay, let's try that again. Horn, bubble, brain, tube, fire. Alright, D tier, where I got all the dead coral blocks. And dried kelp. Also, what even is that block? Anyways, C tier, I got bricks, wet and regular sponge. Shout out Bikini Bottom, that's the only regular sponge I mess with. B tier, only 1 block, which is prismarine. Doesn't look bad, but I think the other variants are cooler. A tier, also only 1 block, prismarine bricks. Looks pretty clean. And that only leaves S tier, where I got dark prismarine and sea lantern. Also all the coral blocks, which I made sure wouldn't die this time. They're just amazingly colorful, honestly. Oh, and I forgot about clay and sand, both D tier to be honest. But that brings me to my next point, which is that we still need some other variations of sand. First of all, we're gonna have to grab some of this red sand, so that we can now make all the types of sandstone. And I have to say, I do like sandstone, so I think B tier for both the red and the regular. Also for both the cut variants, and A tier for both the chiseled ones. These are for sure the coolest ones. And I think most people know that chiseled sandstone has that creeper face, but I think less people know that the red type has a little wither on it. That's kind of funny. Oh, and once again, I forgot about some blocks. The smooth variant. These blocks are just awesome, and also like they look so different from sand. Anyways, I'm just gonna go and punch this gold block now to hint at what we're doing next. Basically, we're gonna get all the other blocks like this now, which basically means I have to do a lot of mining. Basically. Hey yo, nice shots, buddy. Ooh, I'm so scared. You're gonna get me. Anyways, we got most of the stuff we need now. However, we are still missing diamonds. So let's run a timer and see how long it takes. That was fast. We just got 11 diamonds in like a minute. That's kinda ridiculous. Anyways, that's gonna be enough for us to make all the blocks. I also made sure to bring a lot of copper, which we can smelt now. Since there's a lot of different types of copper, we're gonna have to turn it into. So to do that, let's place down a bunch of them with the 4 block gap, which should allow them to oxidize as quickly as possible. That was fast, by the way. This one already entered the first stage, and that should be enough. So what we gotta do now is getting some honeycombs. I'm also gonna make one of these while I'm here. Anyways, the honeycombs are useful because we need them to wax the copper blocks, which stops them from oxidizing, therefore allowing us to keep copper blocks of each stage of oxidization. Okay, it's been about 2 hours, and back here I saw another block turn green, which is all we needed. We can now take them back to the tier list and cut them, so we get blocks like waxed, weathered, cut copper, my favorite block in Minecraft. Just kidding, it's actually not my favorite block in Minecraft, it's D tier. But before we can get to that, we still have to get the emerald block, and I do have a bunch of emeralds in my ender chest, chest, but that wouldn't be in the name of the challenge. So let's find a village and destroy their local forest, so that we can now sell sticks to the villagers. Okay, that's that. And I guess while I'm here, I'm also gonna grab one of these. Also, there were pumpkins and a rune portal in the forest. So let's grab some of these, plus obsidian and crying obsidian. And now let's return back home. Kind of a random selection of blocks. But let's see what we have here. As always, we're gonna start with the D tier. First of all, I got all the middle stage coppers. Because like, please choose one color. This is not it. Anyways, they're gonna be joined by a block of raw iron and block of coal. Self-explanatory, I'd say. Moving on with the C tier. Obsidian, hay bale, pumpkin and carved pumpkin. Let's just say I don't feel inspired by these blocks. The jack-o'-lantern is definitely a bit cooler than its brothers. B tier. Just like the blocks of lapis, redstone, iron and raw gold. Pretty cool blocks. In the A tier, I got blocks of emerald, diamond, copper and cut copper. These blocks look shiny and expensive and I like them. Anyways, time for the S tier, and we're gonna start with both oxidized copper blocks. They look really good and they make me want to build like an old submarine or something, I don't know. Anyways, we also got the crying obsidian. Once again, it just looks really cool. And finally, we got honey block. I think it looks cool, makes a funny sound, and is also like useful in redstone machines for some reason. Anyways, that concludes the S tier. And now let's speedrun this next part, where we're gonna get all the color blocks. I'm gonna start by getting all the dye I don't have access to right now. I also need some amethyst shards so I can make tinted glass, but finding a geode was kinda tough. How's that possible? These are usually everywhere. On the bright side I found this, so let's get some mycelium, mushroom stem, also red and brown mushroom block. And then right next to the mushroom fields I actually found a geode. And that should be everything. Okay, now sand and gravel for concrete powder and concrete. Next, let's bring some sand to the smelter so that we can also add all the glass. Now we're gonna need some terracotta. Okay, that's regular. And using a furnace, we can also get all the glazed variants. Now all we're missing is wool. And that should have been all. So let's place them all down and see what we got. Okay, nice. Looks kind of cool. But also that's a lot of blocks then. So I think I'm just gonna rank each color as a whole, with some exceptions, like terracotta. I mean, let's talk about it. How is this gray? How is this light gray? They're all going to D tier, I don't care. This is supposed to be cyan, by the way. Anyways, I'm also gonna exclude the glazed ones, which leaves 4 blocks per color. Brown, white and green for the D tier. And usually I like green, but the green we have in Minecraft is pretty bad, honestly. Okay, next is the C tier. Gray, light gray and pink. Sadly, I think the pink is pretty underwhelming too. In the B tier, I got magenta, red, orange and yellow. These colors are getting there. They're nicely saturated, but I think the ones coming up are better. A tier, lime, purple and black, which I think is very clean, even though you can't really see it right now. Okay, and finally in the S tier, I got cyan, light blue and regular blue. Oh wow, it's almost like that's my favorite color. I mean, I'm sorry guys, but how else am I supposed to rank this? It's colors after all. But we also have these blocks left, which all look pretty interesting, which also saves them all from being D tier. However, for the C tier, I do have 2 candidates, brown and magenta. Those arrows are kind of goofy. I don't know why, but they are. Alright, B tier, white, green and lime, yellow, orange and light gray. These are cool, but there's still way better ones. A tier, pink, red and gray. I think these are cleaner, like the colors don't match as much. Okay, and finally S tier, cyan, light blue and blue, shocker, but also purple and black. I'm not even sure what I would use any of these blocks for, but they look super good. Oh, and we also have normal and tinted glass left. I'm gonna put normal in B tier and tinted in A tier. I think the fact that light doesn't go through it is pretty cool. But you know what else is pretty cool? The fact that we're almost done with this project. There's only a bunch of random blocks missing, and then like the really tough ones. Frog lights, Deepslate emerald ore, and block of netherite. But let's start with some of the random ones, like ice and a bunch of packed ice, which we can also turn into blue ice. Okay, now some of the dirt types we're missing. Podzol, coarse dirt, and rooted dirt. Also, if we dig down here, we should find moss block. Okay, and what we can do now is grabbing some hay and some dirt, then turn our dirt into a bunch of mud. And with the hay we got, we can now turn mud into packed mud, and packed mud into mud bricks. And I also just noticed we got full moon tonight, which is a good time to visit a swamp and kill some of these guys. Very nice, now we can make a slime block. Also, I just noticed something. I forgot about one of the most relevant blocks in the entire game. Muddy mangrove roots, which should be found in places where roots and mud are meeting, like here. And then while we're in the mangrove swamp, let's look for some frogs we can breed, so that we can work on getting frog lights. Ooh, that's number 1. Hello buddy. We're gonna have to find a date for you. We found a date for you. Also, we got lucky finding 2 different colors already. There's only 1 left we have to get now. But for now, we just gotta let them do their thing. And now we got some frog spawn, which is gonna be helpful with getting that last color. Now let's wait for the spawn to hatch. Yoink, my tadpole now. Okay, but before we turn it into a green frog, let's take these two friends to the Nether, which doesn't look very frog friendly right now. So let's make this whole place a bit more secure. Now we gotta get the frogs through. Okay, you guys stay here, and I'm gonna lure over a magma cube. Bro, chill. It's not even that serious.
Nice shot.
Anyways, I need the frogs to swallow a magma cube now. So first we gotta make them small, and now we wait. Hey, let's go. That's 2 out of 3. And honestly, you guys did great. So I'm not gonna let you rot in the Nether. Alright, now we need the green frog, which lives in cold biomes. So let's make a little home for our tadpole. And then once again, we gotta wait. Bro, you took long. That was like 4 Sandiction uploads. Oh wait, I made the joke already. Anyways, this is the Nether side of where we are right now. And as you can see, there's no magma cubes inside. So I think we're gonna have to build a tunnel to this basalt delta right here, which is about 300 blocks away. So let's get a ton of netherrack and start building. And there we are. Once again, let's make this place a bit safer for the frog. And he's not the fastest, but he's efficient. Look at that movement. Anyways, we have arrived, which means it's time for me to work with the next slow creature. Alright, let's make them smaller. And now enjoy your dinner, sir. Very nice, that's all the frog lights. And then you might as well clean that last guy. Yo, mid-air was kinda crazy. Anyways, let's get you out of here. Have a good life, my friend. And as for us, we can return to the tier list now. And place down our new riches, which also includes muddy mangrove roots. Never obtained before in survival Minecraft, probably. Anyways, let's get into the ranking. D tier, coarse dirt, rooted dirt, packed mud, and muddy mangrove roots. Never ranked before in survival Minecraft. C tier, hot soil, moss, and snow block. I got nothing more to say about that, and I have no regrets. B tier, ice and packed ice. Whereas blue ice is gonna go to A tier, just like mud bricks, which I think has the #1 most satisfying sound in the game. Anyways, S tier, all the frog lights and also slime block. It's like a 1-block trampoline. Also, I know it's like hella useful for stuff, so I think S tier is fair. And talking about blocks that are useful, the next few blocks we're getting are gonna be all the usage blocks. You know, like this furnace or this crafting table. So all I gotta do is farming a bunch of random materials, which I'm gonna need to craft them all. And I gotta say, there's definitely some interesting blocks here. Interesting enough to save them all from being D tier. However, 10 of them are going to C tier. For all of these, I think their details could have been a bit cooler. In B tier, I got loom, bookshelves, target block, and barrel. The barrel, by the way, I've always kind of liked it. I don't know why. Anyways, A tier. Now these are some blocks that have cool details, like this little bow and arrow or the tiny world map here. Pretty awesome stuff. Now S tier, redstone lamp, which I think looks especially cool if it's turned on. And joining it will be the crafting table. Unironically, this is the best block in the game, right? I can't think of a more essential block to Minecraft. Okay, but with all that done, there's now like literally less than 10 blocks missing. 2 of them being Deepslate Emerald and block of Netherite. So before we get to those, let's quickly finish the other random ones. First, we can go to the jungle and get melon and also bamboo for all the bamboo blocks. Then we can visit the weirdest tree in my hardcore world to get all the missing bee blocks. And now let's speedrun this ranking. C tier, beehive and honeycomb block. B tier, we skip it. A tier, melon and bee nest. And S tier, all the bamboo blocks. Okay, and now I've spent like, I don't know how many hours in this project. I stopped counting at 50, but I can finally say we are down to the last 2 blocks. So let's start with Deepslate Emerald. Okay, quick update. Both my pickaxes are almost broken and I still don't have it. All these YouTubers that just fly around in a random cave and find it, yeah, I believe them. No way. Oh my god, that was so fast too. I was just starting to get worried that this block might take like some days on its own. But there it is. It actually does look really cool. I'm so glad right now that we found it. I think to the surprise of no one, this one's gonna be S tier. Which also means there's now only 1 block left. Block of Netherite. Which takes 36 gold. But more importantly, I need 36 ancient debris. So I'm gonna stock up on some sand, gunpowder from the creeper farm, jump cut, TNT, nether, snack time. And now let's do this. Final block. Okay, I need 1 more, and I can see some up here. Final block of the challenge. Let's melt both of these. And now the moment we've been waiting for, block of Netherite. The most expensive block in the game by far. I lost all my sense of time, my sleep schedule is ruined, and block of Netherite is D tier.